Someone mentioned blue collar, and we're very remiss when it comes to, or in fact, you think about the logistical nightmares we're having at the moment and some of the things happening in our world. Blue collar is high up there. They are the feeder group to a lot of people that ultimately become managers and run businesses. And I heard someone actually say, I don't do blue collar. And it made me just go, wow. Paul, is there a difference between blue collar, white collar? And would you mind just reflecting on that, please?
Yeah, sure. So yes, there is, and no, there's not, which is probably a terrible answer. So I guess primarily we're all human, right? So no, there's not. The difference, I'll come back to that in a second. The difference is that to use the framing blue collar, or in councils they say outdoor workers or whatever, but oftentimes it's they're more likely to be working either or always in a process operational role where it's just simply the execution of the task that's needed, so it can feel more that you're a cog. Oh yeah, and that you're a cog in the machine, right? You're the delivery driver just doing deliveries, right? And you don't have that level of connection and emotional connection. And quite a lot of them, some of them work in teams, but quite a lot of the time you're out mowing or you're out doing whatever it is that you're doing, doing the deliveries or whatever it might be. So there's certainly a disconnect. There's also oftentimes a collective cynicism about the ivory tower, because the senior management don't know what we do every day. They don't value us, they don't get us, and all that stuff. So there's very easy to have a significant cynicism of that stuff that comes with that audience. However, the rest of it is that we are all actually human, right? So if you think about the negative talk that they'll have, so instead of being water cooler talk, it's smoko talk, right? But that talk is still becomes positive if they feel heard, they feel acknowledged, if they feel valued, and it becomes negative, and it is about the money if they feel like they're just a cog in the machine that no one cares about. And that is the same whether you're working in an office and someone pings a task at you and you've got to do it, or you're doesn't matter what color shirt you're wearing, you a red shirt at Bunnings, a blue collar person in the field, or a person doing admin in an office, or be a team leader or a supervisor or a leading hand, all those labels. If you feel acknowledged and valued and you're contributing, you want to stay, right? If you feel like a cog in a machine that no one cares about, it's just about the money, because you're just there to do what you're paid to do, and that's it. And so you'll go and get paid somewhere else. You have no connection. So I don't know if that's a useful framing for you or not. Stand the fire.
I know this is late in the piece, but I actually think there's something really important in the next generation that's coming up. So my son would prefer to work at Coles and get paid $10 an hour less with his mate than he would to work somewhere else.
100%.
Like, that's a driver for him. He just wants that connection. He wants to work with his friend, and it's all about that for him. He's like, well, I like it only because of blah, blah, blah. So his personal connection is what's driving him. Now, of course, he's young, he's 18. He doesn't have the financial pressures of a home, etc. But, that's really interesting to know, right? I never would have done that myself.
Yeah. Paul, well answered. I know, and Liam and Sharon, who are here, suffer this fate every day, and in very, very important industries, servicing wind turbines, as I mentioned at the onset. We should not forget, that the frontier of work doesn't kind of end where the white collar kind of finishes. You know what I mean? And when you think about a net promoter score, and you turn it into an employee promoter score, in other words, promoting your people, it's your front line that ultimately, your Jim's Mowing guy that actually makes Jim's Mowing stand up or not. Or be a franchise that you're willing to invest in. And it's so often overlooked, and just even empowering people by making them realize that is gold. Folks, it's been a really delightful session, in that I think it's been a very headspacey talk today, that's commuted into heart space, really feeling this thing called people. And it's that junction of two things that I think is what we seek to really get out there, is emotionally tether to our people and recognize that we can make a difference. Thank you for coming today, Paul, for your very, very insightful presentation. I do apologize that I cut you off in the middle there. I felt very guilty about that. And I knew you were close, but I wasn't sure. So thank you for taking the hit on the chin. To all of you, have a wonderful day. If I could just say, Ivan, who runs BBG, Business Builders Group, has always said, we're 3 minutes to the end. If we could just do a takeout of everybody just saying what their takeaway was, it would be really great just to get your kind of 20-second takeaway. If anyone, and I won't point people out, could I, or maybe by show of hand, and then we could just throw it around. Does anyone want to start, please?
I could sum it up with I saw a cartoon that I think is very relevant to this and sums it up, and it was the CFO talking to the CEO, and he said, what about if we invest all this money in our people and then they leave? And the CEO says, what about if we don't invest in them and they stay?
Love that.
That's a nice one.
Love that.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, thank you, Mark. Any other nuggets, guys?
I just think that talking about what makes people motivated to stay or go is actually so key. And it's something that we take away, we leave behind when we're thinking about the bottom line and the cost of employee hires, etc. I think this actually is the key to it being successful versus being financially viable, which I think it's very important.
I agree with you there, Emma, focusing more on the investment in the people rather than, what it's going to cost. I agree with you there.
Thanks.
I love the bit about the upskilling people, the change of transition, 2.5 million jobs lost, 5.3 million coming back on. And, I think that most business owners don't have a really good grasp of that ROI on their employees. And actually, I came up with a calculator to work it out, because when I worked in the big end of town, they were struggling with it. So there really is a significant cost to getting this right, and advantage around getting this right.
Thanks, Natasha. Any others?
I think one thing that stood out for me was Paul's point about, it's easy to attribute poor performance to an individual rather than actually looking at fit and actually sort of taking the strengths and then applying it in the right place. And I think that tool of sort of measuring strengths and then, shortlisting members of the team that sort of fit the task that you're looking for, I think was brilliant. I really love that.
Definitely.
Yeah. Any others, guys? Can I share one, folks? Think back. We're all of us, some no hair, others, but we've all got long serving and many roles, I think, that we've all played. What's the one day you remember about every role? And if it's not the first day, then either it didn't make an impression or it did. And every single employee has that kind of opportunity to have an aha, this is a great place, or damn, I've made a mistake. And probation kind of kicks in and we go. I think we should really make it part of our journey to make that first day of a long-standing relationship with that person an ambition. I'll leave it at that, folks.
Sorry, Bill,
sorry, Mark. I beg your pardon. I thought everyone.
I've always found it ridiculous that we have a bigger party when someone leaves than when they actually join, and I just find that it's just I just have never got that. We always have the big party when someone joins, and we have a far smaller party when they leave. Even though I want to get them back later on, in most cases, it's the principle of the thing.
Yes, it's a great reframe, Mark. I like that. That's really clever. Yeah. All righty, folks. I think we've come to the end, and unless anyone has one last nugget, going, gone. Thank you, everybody. It's been wonderful. Paul, thanks again. Thank you all very much for spending your precious time with us today, folks. I'm hoping you got something out of it.